What's up, guys? It's Tragic Johnson coming at you live here with the man, the myth, the legend, JuS Code in the building.
Oh,
yes, sir.
appreciate you having me.
We appreciate you coming down.
For sure.
So my first question is, just tell us a little bit about where you're from. You know, I know you're from Connecticut. Tell us about what part, you know, and how that influenced your music.
No, for sure. So I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. My family originally from Jamaica, so I'm first generation. My mom born in Montego Bay. My dad born in Kingston. My parents came here.
Jamaican too.
Jamaican? Oh, where was it?
So what's the music like in, what's the music scene like in Connecticut? And were you influenced by that more so, or by your West Indian upbringing?
Music scene in Connecticut, we really like, it's New York, it's heavily influenced by New York, I can say that. Like my favorite artists growing up was like Nas, DMX, Prodigy, those type of artists look like that. You know, the East Coast itself it holds tight together. I feel like Connecticut is definitely influenced by New York in a respectful way. So shout out to New York for being the pioneers of the style and the sound that I'm influenced by.
Okay. And do you feel like that's what influenced you to get in the booth and start working?
Honestly, my older brothers is what influenced me. So they're artists as well. But I started rapping probably at about like 4 years old. Like
wow.
Barely spitting out real words and shit like that.
And still rapping?
But still rapping. So the rhythm and cadence is there. You feel me? Can't take that away. So that's like a natural to me.
Okay. So I might start a little civil rivalry with this question.
Go ahead.
But listen, how does it feel to be in the same industry as your closest family members? And who's the best?
I mean, I'm always say I'm the best. Like, you know what I mean? I'm the youngest. I got the chip on my shoulder. So it's like anything they do, you know what I mean? I'm going to match it and do better. So that's the, you know what I mean, good part about being the youngest. You can look up to side and then perfect it. So I'm going to say, of course, I'm the best, but they definitely taught me everything I know. So it's like, depends on who you're asking. You know what I mean?
Okay. Did they have any influence on this new project that you coming out called?
Not really. My brothers were definitely present for some of the studio sessions, but like as far as the influence, it's kind of just based on the lifestyle that I felt like I was around, I was living, I was seeing, like in the whole LA scene, or you know, in the Hollywood LA scene. It's like a whole bunch of dream selling, you know what I mean, a whole bunch of, you know what I mean, that nightlife lifestyle. So like the stories and the things that I'm talking about in the song is like definitely something you just relate to when you get ready to go out and enter in that world. So that's what the influence from the tape came from.
Okay. Because what was really interesting is when I listened to the most popular song that you have on Spotify right now, like the first song that pops up, it had like a lighter tone to it sound-wise. So Wasted Time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had a way lighter tone to it than Sold the Dream. So I was wondering if that was influenced by the Hollywood scene. If you went out and you saw something that made you feel a little bit darker before you went in the studio.
Yeah, I definitely can say like the moods of my music, it changes like song by song basis. Cause I don't write any of my music. Most of the time I just go in there and freestyle. So most of the stuff I talk about is definitely whatever mood I was feeling. So if you ain't looking at the timestamps of the song, my mood is constantly changing. That's where we get back to. I got a song called Moody on the Soda Dream EP that's coming out on Friday. So that goes into that. That's my outro. So it's kind of like I give you a bunch of these different moods and then I end it with Moody. On the chorus I said, she like Justice, why you always moody? So it's like talking about myself, you know what I mean?
So how do you feel like, because artists get a lot of draw from their personal life into their music.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you feel like your personal life has influenced your music that's coming out now?
Yeah, 100% influenced the music that I got coming out. Like the whole term selling a dream, I felt like everyone has felt like they've been sold dreams on many different levels, whether it's with, you know, relationships, whether it's with like your career, your job, whatever it is, but it's just promises at the point of really, you know what I mean, keeping up their side of the bargain. So I feel like that whole concept, I kind of took it and spit it out on a tape into a lavish, you know what I mean, style, so where people bumping, you know what I mean? So it is real shit, and it is like touchy subjects, but it's like the way I spit it, it makes it enjoyable to listen to. So that was kind of the main factor that I was focused on with this tape, making sure people like want to hear the shit, want to Shazam it, like who is that, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's what the focus of this tape is.
Got it. So you definitely like you're trying to stretch soundscapes on this tape.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I definitely experiment. The music on this tape is nothing like the music I've released. You know what I mean? I'm more of a, I try to always incorporate my bars, you know what I mean, lyricism, and all of that into the play, but this was more of like vibes, focus on vibes, and how people feel.
Okay. So that, the new music that you got coming out is definitely building on the momentum of what you had previously. I mean, you know, you've been at SOBs, you know, you got posted on Lyrical Lemonade on the radar. So how did you get to cultivate those relationships or make those networking steps? Because everybody knows, you know, it's a million talented artists out there, but the differentiator is how you're able to move in certain spaces. So how did you do it?
I mean, I feel like I got started in the game kind of like young and kind of built my way up. But every relationship that I ever had, I always like just treated it with respect and value. Even if I didn't need it right away, I just know certain people like keep this person number, keep this person email, you might need it later on. So a lot of my relationships that I had were very organic, you know what I mean? I didn't have to jump through too many hoops to get them. And like, you know what I mean? If people really fuck with you, they'll do favors for you, you know what I mean? Off the strength of you and the type of person you is. So I feel like I've just been able to benefit off of, you know what I mean, just being solid and people really, you know what I mean, enjoying my company.
So, speaking of a company, we gotta talk about why we're really here. It's in the name. So, please give the audience the backstory to why code is in your name. What does code mean to you?
Okay, for sure.
And then, talk about the merch that y'all got going on.
Yeah, I want to talk about all of that. So code is an acronym for conquering our dreams every day. It's a lifestyle, it's a brand, it's a movement. I got a scholarship for it. But it means so much more. It wasn't always a part of my name. Originally, I just was changing my Instagram name to JuS. I just had to add code, and there was a period in between. But when people started calling me, they started calling me JuS Code, JuS Code, JuS Code. So I was like, I might just, you know what I mean, put the whole thing together. But my name was really just JuS, you know, I attached the code to it because that was my brand. But it has helped out, you know what I mean, because it's just like, when they say my name, the brand is attached to it as well, you know what I mean, and it allows me just to do so much for other people as well. So my point right now with the label, everything we got over there, I just want to help develop artists and get them ready, you know what I mean, to the next deal, whether that is for majors or just whatever they pursue to do as an independent in their career. So that's the goal right now. We got a good solid team right now. I'm happy for what's to come.
Okay. So speaking of independent, moving independent or moving with majors, what has made you stay independent up until now? Because you have we mentioned some of the media momentum that you have, but you also have these industry relationships. Like I was listening, told you I went through the whole Spotify, and on the same code song, you had a line that said, "Coke boys play with me in French anytime now." Right? So yeah, how did you establish a relationship with them?
Frank, the relationship with Frank has been dope. You know what I mean? He's been like a mentor to me, I can say. And just helping me with just like my business moves and like my moves as an artist and how to have longevity in the game. We worked on a lot of stuff. We worked on music together. Done business on other things, such and such that people will see soon. But like, just, you know what I mean? Just learn from somebody that's been able to have that many years of success is important. So I just admire that and just trying to add that to my own game. You know what I mean?
I totally understand that. Was he somebody who advised you to stay independent, or?
Definitely told me like the independent focus on building your core fan base, stay independent, so that if you want to do a major or a situation, you'll have more leverage in the situation. So right now, you know, I mean, we're building it up and just making it for us.
Okay. And what advice would you give? I mean, you already mentor artists, you know, through code.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, so if you could just talk to the camera right now, and it's some, you know, young rapper out in Connecticut, and he just getting started in his bedroom, she's just getting started, and she's got all the talent in the world, but she doesn't know how to translate it into something tangible. What would you say to them?
Most importantly, just stay consistent, because even if you don't have your whys and your motivation to do it, as long as you're consistent in something, over time you'll really figure it out. At least for me, because it's like you'll have days where it's rough, you know what I mean? You'll have days where it feels like everything is easy and just flowing for you, but it's the consistency that more than anything. The consistency is going to build up the confidence, and from there you'll be able to just keep going with what you love doing. It takes a minute to really find your passion in something, so that's the most important thing I can say is consistency.
Okay. Well, that's beautiful, man. You heard it here. Thank you.
Code!
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming through.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Shout out my team at KUT, the whole brand, everybody over there.